It's time for a short tour of the Woodland garden before the summer arrives and everything disappears. So this was one of my earliest gardens that I built. All of the stones in this pathway were brought home from a friend's farm in the trunk of my car. It took many trips and a period of 2 to 3 years to get all of these stones home because the farm was a long ways away. So I will start in this corner. What we have here is 2 very large sugar maples in the center of the garden and another large sugar maple on this side. So this garden receives shade for most of the year. And we start here with some wild ginger. This kind of fills this corner and it's slowly spreading. Wild ginger doesn't have any flowers right now, but when it does, they will be down here in the V of the 2 leaves. And you can see there's lots of potential here, but no flowers quite yet. Then we have some Solomon seal, which is producing some flowers right now, and these will hopefully turn into some berries later on. In front of this rock are a nice clump of jack-in-the-pulpits. The one nice thing about this garden is I have never planted a jack-in-the-pulpit, yet they come up all over the place. And you can see here the flower with Jack sitting in his pulpit in there. These will develop into beautiful red berries in the fall, and the ants disperse those berries. Back here, finished blooming now, we have a nice patch of bloodroot. They had gorgeous white flowers earlier this year. And then a patch of ostrich ferns, which I have to keep thinning out every once in a while because they do tend to be a little rampant. Along here is the trillium patch. So we have both white trilliums, Trillium grandiflorum, and some red trilliums down here, which is Trillium erectum. And then in the back corner, I have a patch of zigzag goldenrod adjacent to a patch of trout lily. And although the trout lily keeps spreading, it's never actually produced flowers. And I'm seeing down in here what appears to be some leeks or ramps, which is lovely because I put seeds in here a few years ago and it appears that at least one of them has germinated. And my zigzag goldenrod, and another patch of it in the back corner, but in front of that patch is some mayapple. And the mayapple has no fruit or flower yet, but the flower bud has formed. And although we're into May, and normally I would see a flower even this early in May, this year they're very slow with the cool weather we've had lately. This is a new plant for my garden. This is a blue cohosh, and I'm not sure whether it's giant blue cohosh or blue cohosh. We'll see a little later. It has finished flowering already, and I don't remember what the flowers looked like. Then on this side of the garden up here, we have some woodland poppies, which nicely self-seed throughout my garden, as you can see, patches of it here and there. And then in the front we have Virginia waterleaf, which is slowly spreading to take over this front corner, which is what I hope it will do eventually. And in a few weeks' time, or actually not even that long, we're starting to see the flower buds are forming. I get my camera to focus. There we go. So the flower buds are forming down here, and those will produce tall plumes of lovely pinkish white flowers that'll eventually turn white as they mature. And it does self-seed, so you can see all the babies coming up over here, and I actually moved a few of the babies out there to help it spread a bit further. In the center I have some leeks, so I have 3 plants, and another one has been promised. I'm looking forward to it. And in the front, all new this year, or mostly new this year, I have a variety of violets. I've got some yellow, downy yellow violets. I have sweet white violet, and we can get down closer, we can see it there, and downy yellow. And then I have some sharp-lobed hepatica, 3 patches of that. These are blue violets, and I should take a look to see if they're the native or non-native. They're just a volunteer, so I probably are the non-native. Over here I have some round-lobed hepatica and some foam flower. All of these are new this spring, and I'm quite excited to see them. In the center I have planted a few things last year, but not too much of it has come back, except for some of the false Solomon seal, which you can see right here and over here, and a few other pieces of false Solomon seal have volunteered and are coming up throughout the garden as well. If we move along to this third part of the garden, we have a spice bush in the center. I've talked about this in other videos. This one is about 4 feet tall, and it is the same age as one at the back of my property, which is 15 to 20 feet tall. So the drier soil and the shade here has kept this one stunted. More wood poppies, more ostrich ferns. Underneath it I have some running strawberry bush, which is Euonymus obovatus, and it is slowly filling up the area underneath it. I've planted spring beauty in the front twice, and it just doesn't come back, so I've given up on that one. And then over in this corner I planted downy yellow violet here a couple of years ago, but it doesn't do well. Something likes to eat it off all the time, and I'm not sure what is getting at it. I have a sedge in the middle and some more ostrich ferns, but up here I have some blue cohosh there and some white baneberry coming up here, and in the back I have red baneberry and more blue cohosh coming up there, and the occasional volunteer jack-in-the-pulpit, as well as a volunteer false Solomon seal over here. And as you can see, it's already starting to flower. So the buds will be opening before too long, and the ubiquitous garlic mustard coming up in the pathway. I guess I better get busy on that, and it looks like my neighbor's lily of the valley coming through under the fence as well. And so that's a quick tour of my shade garden. It is not in flower for very long. I'm working on that by planting some asters and some goldenrods under here to help keep some color through to the fall. But it is a lot of pleasure to watch the early things popping up. And the wood poppies are really the height of color for a long time in this shade garden. And I guess we'll tour another garden another day.